Okay, what's up, everyone? You know what time it is. It is time to review Boys Season 3, Episode 1 to 3, which just came out like a few days ago. So this time I'm not that late in watching the first three episodes of this season. So without any further ado, let's get started. I mean, come on. First of all, how could I miss this season? I mean, the first two seasons were just amazing. After watching the first two seasons, I don't know who could have missed out this season. So there's that. And honestly speaking, I think after watching the first two seasons, of course, this show was truly something. I mean, of course, it's like it doesn't only like parody as many superheroes as possible, both from Marvel and DC, but it's of course it's more than that because it's not only just about parodying superheroes and making the audiences figure out which superhero they're trying to parody, but it's also about the superheroes themselves. And it's not just about like the heroic acts they commit or like the action sequences. It's also just about the characters themselves and how they're not always what they seem. It's not always black and white where they might seem heroic on the surface, but underneath, they always have a dark side. Some are just like doing things out of self-interest, regardless of how many citizens are harmed. And we have seen that multiple times in the Boys show. And of course, like there's also more to that that the show focuses on. But that's like one of the main like point or like this main idea of this show, if I'm not wrong, which is about like superheroes aren't always what they seem. They also have this evil side too, even though they're heroes. But anyways, let's get into the first three episodes themselves. And first thing first, I really have to say already so much has happened. The fact that they decided to release the first three episodes all together, I think it was certainly, just made just I'm pretty sure also like, made other audiences just have a lot to take in. I mean, I'll certainly say that the opening scene of episode one got me hooked to the whole season. So that way, I didn't want to lose focus of the of watching the scene, like the show itself. And of course, that opening scene being where Homelander and then the Seven, I think it's basically a scene from the movie The Dawn of the Seven, which I remember they were trying to promote in season two, where Homelander teams up with the Seven to take down Stormfront. And honestly, that was a very smart way to like hide how Stormfront actually got defeated, because in reality we know in season two she got her arms and legs amputated by Ryan. She didn't die, but she was certainly injured because of Ryan's heat vision. So they did not tell the truth to the audience, and I think it worked. It was a smart way because I think the movie was also successful in the show, of course, not in real life because that movie doesn't exist. But yeah, I just wanted to say that the opening scene got me hooked towards like to the whole season, and just makes me want more of the season. But anyways, I'm gonna first start off with the main one of the main characters of this show, that is none other than Homelander, of course, and his character arc so far. And from what I observed, if you agree with me or not, he's certainly going through a rough time. Who knew this time would come? I mean, they kind of shadowed it with the ending of second season, when like he doesn't lose his girlfriend, but like Stormfront, she was like severely disfigured. And then on top of that, you have Queen Maeve blackmailing him about showing the video to the world where he leaves all his passengers on the plane to die. And on top of that, he also loses control over the team, given that Stan Edgar just easily made Starlight the co-captain of the team without Homelander doing anything about it. So everything is certainly going against the will, which is certainly also driving him crazy as well. And he's probably going to lose it sooner or later. I remember that particular scene where there's a girl trying to jump off the building, and then Homelander is supposed to save her. And all of a sudden, the news, shows how, or the media shows how Stormfront had actually, committed suicide, when in reality that wasn't true. And that really, like, of course, just made, pushed him off the edge, pushed Homelander to the edge, off the edge. Okay. Uh, I'll just say that just basically certainly even made him crazier, and that way, I mean, he basically let the girl with no choice but to jump off the building, which certainly was frightening. But speaking of frightening, I have to say so far he hasn't done anything that's so frightening or intimidating. I think the worst he has probably done is feed deep his friends, aka seafood. I remember he was making him eat lobsters, And there's a scene, where he made him eat his friend Timothy, who was an octopus. It was hilarious to watch him, like, having to, like, eat the octopus with force. But at the same time, it was sad to watch him, eat his friend, basically. So there's that. Man, can't expect anything from home. Like, don't know what Homelander can do, just cannot expect anything, good from him, or can predict anything what Homelander does. So there's that. Now moving on to the other main character, I'm going to talk about, that is William Butcher, who has his own problems, especially after he lost Becca for good at the end of season 2. But he's still the Butcher from before. At least that's a good thing, because I think the show The Boys Without Butchers is actually really incomplete. I mean, do I have to say that? I mean, Butcher, the kind of personality he had, that rough and tough personality with him swearing all the time, man. Butcher is really, I mean, I'll probably say he's one of the best characters, if not the best characters of the show. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can also agree with me with that. He also still believes his way is the right way, but then, like, there are other characters who, well, for example, Huey, who initially, was trying to fight the right way, but then he himself also said that, Butcher's way is actually the only way. And that way he had no other choice but to reunite with Butcher. And that reason being, which brings me to my next slide, that is, his mind basically gets blown. Like, that's the best way to put it, albeit metaphorically, not literally, because literally his mind would have been blown, he would have been dead. But the point is, I remember there was this scene at the end of season 2 when he decides to work for Vic Newman, and I knew that he was definitely going to get himself into trouble. And then I was really waiting for this to happen, which it finally did. They didn't waste any time and finally showed the scene where Huey metaphorically gets his mind blown after seeing, Victoria Newman exploding Tony like that. I think that's when he realizes she's the one who explodes the head, who has been exploding the heads. So congratulations, Huey. You finally found out the truth. And finally, the boys reunite. And of course, this was going to happen. Now, the real fun begins. Now that the boys have reunited. I mean, Butcher, Frenchie, and Kimiko were always working together. It's only Huey and Mother's Milk who had to rejoin. Huey, he had his reasons to join. Now, Mother's Milk, I wanted to talk about. His was quite personal, which was very unexpected. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about his character arc, and I think where they're planning on taking his arc in the season. From where it seems like, I think Mother's Milk is definitely gonna have some, personal issues with Soldier Boy, of course, because Soldier Boy was the one who killed his family, and that was why he rejoined the boys in the first place. So let's find out, what Mother's Milk actually does to, avenge his family, because of course he cannot, like, use his bare hands. He's not a soup like Soldier Boy. So let's find out his plan to, take revenge on Soldier Boy. It's gonna be interesting, actually. Now, the next character I wanted to talk about was Queen Maeve. Honestly, there hasn't been much of her so far. I just remember that one scene where she's just looking at Homelander. She's watching Homelander, like, grab onto Adrian's neck. Oh boy, that scene was a bit intense. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I remember seeing that in the trailer. I remember in the actual scene, Adrian actually just whispers the F word, and Homelander could hear it, the super hearing sense. I knew that, he is gonna be in trouble now. Like, he isn't gonna, like, have a good time now that Homelander heard him. That was a bit intense scene. I'm not gonna lie, actually. And then you have, like, Queen Maeve watching it from the, not shadows, but, like, watching it from the corner. And then what she does is decides to give Butcher the compound V24, which I'm going to come to a bit later. On top of that, she gives Butcher the idea of, searching for Soldier Boy and the rest of the payback team who existed before the Seven, I believe. But so far, she hasn't done much. So hopefully, there's more of her later on in the season. I really hope, she does contribute more in taking down Homelander when she has the potential to do so. Now let's talk about Compound V24 and Butcher, their relationship. Well, not relationship, but what I'm trying to say is that I think Butcher certainly he clearly went against his own morals by injecting himself with the Compound V24. There's no doubt about that. But can we really blame him? I mean, he had to do what he had to do. I mean, he was going to go up against Soups, who were part of the payback, such as Gunpowder. Of course, he needed it. I mean, he brutally. I mean, well, let's talk about that scene. When he's fighting against Gunpowder at the parking lot, he just brutally murdered Gunpowder. Like, there's no question about that. And he was clearly having fun with all those powers he got onto Compound V24. I mean, he first punches Gunpowder like multiple times with his fists until he dies, and even after he dies, he laser beams him into half. It was, I mean, he certainly was having fun, just you know, basically murdering Gunpowder, and he's probably going to have even more fun with that. Now, I definitely wanted to talk about a scene where Huey, basically, he just, I mean, he had a very typical reaction, but he basically is like, "What the f?" when Butcher pukes on him. I mean, that scene was very abrupt. I mean, in a good way, of course. But honestly, though, left episode 3 left off with a cliffhanger, which I really look forward to see the continuation of in episode 4. I just now want to only see, Huey's reaction, but I also want to see the rest of the boys' reaction when they find out that Butcher has taken the compound V24. It's gonna be fun, actually. Now, of course, I'm also going to talk about Starlight too. I think they have certainly seen, I think they are trying to, like, take her relationship with Huey a bit further. I mean, now we're seeing them actually argue with each other rather than just happily be with each other like in the previous seasons. Now we're seeing them actually fight. I mean, for some reason, I just want to see more of their relationship. I just want to see how it'll impact the season and even the future seasons, if that might happen. I mean, like, future season if possible, but I don't know how much are they gonna, like, like, focus on their relationship. But it's still something, which I really do appreciate. But if you're talking about her in particular, it seems like in the first 3 season episodes she has already gone quite far, given that she's now the co-captain of the Seven. So I mean, it is going to be fun to see how she keeps Homelander busy whilst the boys go to Russia, I believe, in search of Soldier Boy. It's just going to be fun to see how she has to deal with Homelander, given that she's now the co-captain and Homelander is the captain. How they basically how they work with each other. It's going to be something worth anticipating. Now, overall, what I think about the plot so far, based on the first 3 episodes, I'll say I like it so far. I think the boys are, like, looking for particular soups. The payback, that's really like their main, uh, that's really their main, like, purpose. In this season so far, I think the main member of the payback being Soldier Boy, whom they're looking for, because Soldier Boy is supposed to help kill Homelander, which I really want to, like, see how that happens, because I thought Soldier Boy was like a parody of Captain America. And I thought, like, Superman was supposed to be stronger than Captain America. He's supposed to be way more powerful than Captain America. So let's see. Even, like, I mean, first of all, we don't know if Soldier Boy and Homelander were to fight, how the fight would pan out, and just how their interaction is going to be like, because I thought, like, Soldier Boy was supposed to be as crazy as Homelander, if not crazier. So let's see how they get along with each other. But I'm also looking forward to how the boys also encounter Soldier Boy when they actually find him. They might, like, have a fight with him. So that's also something worth anticipating. Basically, I'm trying to say I'm just also looking forward to the new character Soldier Boy, which who's going to appear in the season. I know they had been teasing him in the second season as well. Now, it was very interesting to me to like learn some, like, new secrets about the boys' boss Mallory, Agent Mallory. I mean, even the boys also themselves were very surprised when they get to know more about Mallory's background, how she was working with the payback, and she knew that Soldier Boy had actually killed Mother Milk's family, but never bothered to tell Mother Milk about that. And she had also been working with Stan Edgar before he became the CEO of Watt. So a lot of, like, new secrets being um, revealed. Now, my final thoughts. Once again, I'll say a lot has already happened in the first 3 episodes. No doubt about that. Mainly because a lot of exciting subplots have been set up for the further the future episodes. And that's why I'm really anticipating what happens in future episodes, especially, now that the boys are going to fly to Russia while Starlight has to pretend to be in a relationship with Homelander just to keep him busy. So let's see how that goes. So really looking forward to this season. Hasn't disappointed yet, and hopefully it doesn't. And here's a reference. So tell me what you thought about the season so far. And until next time, see you next time.